Hi guys, I'm Sisi.
And I'm Mski.
And we're watching Jujutsu Kaisen episode 24 of season 1.
Yes, this is the season finale.
Finally.
It's pretty damning that we got to this point so quickly, but yeah, that's 24 episodes. How long did it take us to do that with Demon Slayer?
Well,
It was over a month for sure.
yeah.
We got here quickly, and I have to say it's been an enjoyable journey, but there's a movie that's coming.
Yeah.
And we had a sort of a similar experience for Demon Slayer as well, because after season 1 there was the Rengoku movie.
Yeah.
So now we're having another one.
We're expecting something special.
Yeah, but obviously before we get into the movie, we have to see how this season is gonna end.
Yeah.
I imagine it's gonna do with Yuji Nobara and that Jack Queen guy. He was sort of weird though. He didn't want people to look at him in the back.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It looked strange, to be honest.
That's such a stupid thing. But yeah, obviously I was pretty impressed with the last episodes. The Megami backstory and Megami in general as a character was really impressive to me. So now we're gonna see what happens in this one. I imagine it's probably gonna be about Yuji, either Yuji or Nobara. We're also gonna do an entire discussion at the end of the episode about this season, about favorite characters, stuff like that. So we'll give you guys insight into what we think about the show so far. So stay tuned in for that. But for now, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's go.
Don't forget to check us out on Patreon, where you guys can get full length and early access to our reactions. A link is in the description.
We also have an Instagram, and the link is in the description too.
Yes. Poison.
Yeah.
The moment she says it. With your backs to me.
Oh.
She's a liability. What?
What happened?
The fuck was that ability? Oh, Yuji really is going crazy. Get him in the Olympics. What?
Oh.
The poison.
It got her too.
Oh, okay. Roses?
Kinda looks beautiful, but
そちらの少年は持って15分、お嬢さんの方は10分が限界でしょう。朝には骨しか残りませんよ。
Really?
やっぱ毒か。結果有毒なだけであって、私たちの術式はあくまで分解です。
Well, technically.
術式の開示は済んだ。
So it makes it stronger.
身に覚えのない解任に始まり、親類縁者からの風当たりは常軌を逸し、彼女はこの亡骸を抱え、ある呪術師が開いた寺に駆け込んだ。が、その時点で彼女の運は尽きてしまう。
Was she killed? Oh, Kamo.
母の記憶はない。人間にも術師にも150年。お互いの存在だけを頼りに封印を保っ
150 years.
兄弟のため、兄弟が望むのであれば、私はそれに準ずるのみ。
当たれば勝ちの術式、強いなお前ら。残念。私との相性最悪だよ。
What?
霊地法。友なり。
oh, that was so smart.
痛いのは嫌だろ。ならさ。
Why does it affect them?
術式解けよ。
It's connected somehow with the technique.
術式。我慢比べ。こちらの術式を解かねばこれが続くというわけ。
It just doesn't make sense though.
With the voodoo
友なり。
she uses, it's kind of the same.
でも、友なりは対象とのつながりをたどる。 今私の中にある奴らの血液は触乱不術の術式で二人と強くつながっている。
なかなかに強烈だが、何度やっても私たちの命には届かない。
It's just gonna hurt.
いずれ死ぬのはあなた方。しかも Q の発動中は痛みと毒でまともに。
Well, wouldn't Yuji be able to attack her? Yeah.
なぜそこまで動ける。
共なり
Yeah.
虎杖は猛毒、呪いの王、両面宿儺の器。故にあらゆる毒
Of course it's not gonna affect him.
分解の痛みはあるだろうが、その果ての毒は奴には効かない。だが痛みだけじゃ
Even then, yeah, it's just pain.
虎杖裕二は止まらない。
Oh, Black Flash. Whoa! Music is crazy.
いつでも動きを止められるとでも。おんで術式を解くか。
Hurt yourself again.
このままでは弟を助けに行けない。Q の発動中に使用を。
You're gonna have to release it, man.
俺たちは3人で一つだ。
He released that.
He had to. Oh, go on, Yuji.
気づいた時には術式を解いていた。
That music goes hard. What?
Yuri is crazy, man.
The animation is crazy, not Yuji. I love the screams in the background as well. At the same time? What? They sync that with the music like that?
The Black Flash.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
まだこっちは見せてなかったわね。
What?
心配しなくてもすぐに兄貴に送ってやるわ。
結実。俺たちは3人で。
Oh, they loved each other.
こいつなんで消えない。呪霊じゃない。肉体があるんだ。
Huh?
Nice way to run away.
What? How many miles an hour is he going at?
特にあの女は傷を癒し確実に殺す。
For Yuji is crazy.
あの女何をしている。
Is she killing him?
スレちゃん
Oh, his arm. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Yeah.
伏線を決めると術師は一時的にアスリートでいう。
Nah, of
The
course.
zone.
Yeah, they talked about this.
Yeah.
Uppercuts.
ごめん。
Ah, sorry, she says. This had such a top production.
エソケチズを殺したのは呪術高専1年虎杖裕二とその一派だ。
Mahito, man. Stop with the crazy looks, brother. I forgot about her, the
Yeah.
driver.
あのおっさん大丈夫かしら。車行っちゃったし。毒の方はまあ、今から帰って翔子さん起きてるかな。そんでシラフ
Look for Megami.
人間だとしてあのレベルのを長期間拘束する術はない。
でもあいつ泣いたんだよ。目の前で弟が死ん
Hmm.
There was some human emotion in there, obviously. They weren't these big bad monsters.
そっか。じゃあ、共犯ね、私たち。
Murderers together.
お戻ったかよかった無事で
ビビった死んでスクナの指持って寝こけるなよ危ねえな
なんで指のこと知ってんだよ
それ聞く余裕ある
呪霊がいる
俺食べようか残飯じゃね
お前の指のキャパははっきり分かってる
Yeah,
食う
don't do that.
なでも一番
Oh, is Sukuna gonna show up now?
念をすが
Make use of the pact?
犬並みの理解力だと思われてるな。
Yeah.
俺こいつマジで
Okay.
今回もろくに働かねえし
He hasn't taken over the body.
新田さん
ブチギレてるわね
じゃあ
Look at the state they're in, girl. Calm down.
いやー指の呪霊だけじゃなくってさ遺体を調べてびっくりなんと
Also, Goju is back now.
特級相当をかっこ撃破今年の1年は豊作だね僕の指導者として
Oh, these were considered special grades.
オフの日にあんたと長話したくないのよね飲み会の幹事の件でしょ
どう目星はついた
全然
What the hime?
内通者が学生ってのは考えたくないね
Hmm.
さてあとは頼むよメイさん
Her getting her payments, man.
Yeah.
What? So we're looking. What? Is that a lot? There was way too many numbers there.
お前のせいだお前が俺を取り込んだ
Still training. Getting better.
それより聞いたか一年図の話
Yeah, these guys are better than you.
負けてらんねえな
No, well, they're happy about it, of course.
おお
And the
Panda.
facial expression.
全員巻きパンダ
伏黒めぐみ釘崎野原そして
Yuji.
一級術師に推薦する
Oh, recommendation.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Shopping with Nobara.
Could have just bumped them up even higher. What about the second grade? Why not?
一個でも落としたら
What are these faces? Oh, he's dead.
Goju's calling.
So much bickering between them.
五条先生から来いってさ
あなんで
任務らしいそれも極秘の
Top secret one.
Nah, this is gonna be them receiving the news. Alright, this is it then. Okay. So we end the season on a positive. And I loved it. And I would have liked to see more. But I still loved it. So it's a conflicting issue in my mind at the moment. Because I would have loved to see even more happen. Because obviously the second half of the episode was just wholesome. But I was pretty happy with the entire episode. I mean, I must admit, I didn't expect it to be this good. In terms of, I loved the music. I loved the animation. Obviously, the surprise about the brothers was nice. They seemed like good people. There was also a psychological aspect to this episode in terms of obviously Yuji killing again and Nobara killing again. And Nobara not
It was
hesitating to kill.
Nobara's first time.
Exactly. And then they got promoted to first grade, probably. Obviously, we're not sure yet, but it's gonna happen. I'm sure that if you get a recommendation by Todo, you're in. I was a little bit caught off guard by the whole thing about the poison thing, and then the way Nobara obviously managed to rescue us out of that situation with her technique. That whole thing about them feeling the pain of it, though, because of her ability, was pretty well thought.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I've said that about Jujutsu Kaisen ever since. Well, for the past 5 or 6 episodes, I've been having a pretty huge issue about some of the techniques. I've had this issue of the show not truly utilizing the potential of each technique going up against another technique. Because every sorcerer and every curse has their own thing, their own ability, their own curse technique and so on. And there's a ton of characters. So I've been saying it. There's a ton of potential to pair up an interesting technique against another interesting technique and see what comes out of it. And that's a pretty good case where it happens, obviously.
Yeah.
Her technique countering his perfectly. That was handy. That really worked.
Yeah.
I really like that. I want to see more of that. Truly good stuff here.
But those guys, they weren't bad people, because they weren't too bad.
Oh, they were bad. they were truly bad.
Yeah.
It's just that they cared for each other.
Yeah.
And they loved each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't excuse them though. I mean, Mahito probably cares for Hanami as well.
That.
Yeah, to be honest, actually.
He
when you
left
think
him
about
there.
it. Nah, he didn't help him. He healed him. But then again, he did it so because Hanami is a useful weapon.
Yeah.
I love that music in the middle of the episodes during their fights. Gonna have to look it up.
Was epic.
I'm sure it would have been popular at the time when people heard that song. I'm sure that band got their flowers for doing that song. So obviously next season we're gonna have to see what happens. We have these. Well, we just ate another finger, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're one step closer to the end goal. I'm really hopeful we don't get to that point, because that means we're losing Yuji. And I'm sure it wouldn't.
It's not gonna be this easy.
Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna reignite the battle between Mahito's team and the Sorcerers next season. We underestimated Mahito because he couldn't really deal with Nanami that way. I personally assumed that Mahito is a really capable guy. Nanami was gonna have no chance against him, but that wasn't really the way it turned out. And Nanami didn't actually do anything to him.
Yeah.
But the part that left me with that impression about Mahito is the fact that Mahito didn't do anything to Nanami either.
Yeah.
So I was like, this villain is nothing really impressive. But I feel like he's about to step it up.
Yeah,
maybe
but
next
Nanami
season.
was like, he needs to be exercised soon because he will become too strong.
Yeah.
So
Or either.
yes, he is now.
Well, yeah, but then again, Yuji can touch his soul, so Yuji is gonna kill him. And he obviously has that desire to do it because of what happened to Yoshino. Yuji was really focused on him. Remember that episode where they realized somebody had entered the forest, the exchange event.
Yeah.
Yuji's first thought was about, hey, is it Mahito?
Yeah. He asked Hanami about him.
Yeah,
Are you working with him?
He was focused on it. So next season, I'm sure we're gonna have that battle, Yuji against Mahito. There's no way to go around it. I'm actually curious if Mahito, Geto, and those guys are gonna stay the villains for the rest of the show, or are we gonna be introduced to new ones? I wonder what happens if Sukune is released ever. Does him and Gojo have a crazy battle?
Yeah.
Who wins it? I presume it's gonna be a draw, and the only real losers from this battle are probably gonna be the people of planet Earth because you're gonna destroy the entire thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot to look forward to with season 2, so I'm excited. But first, we have a movie to watch, and that movie is gonna be about that boy Okotsu. Yeah. As far as I understood, there's been a lot of people commenting saying this boy is really special. He's kind of like a main character as well, which is funny because we haven't even seen him yet. So how does that work? Who writes shows like that?
They're showing you one of the main characters.
How do you get introduced to a main character 25 episodes later? This is ridiculous. But we'll see him. I'm excited to see him because he's been hyped a lot by you guys, by the show as well, by Gojo. He must be special. So, thoughts about season 1? The show in the beginning was a lot better for me.
Yeah.
I think it slowly started losing its charm for me personally, because we got introduced to a lot of new characters,
And those,
really fast.
Yeah, and those were the moments we were seeing Sukuna more, and I feel like Sukuna's making the show better. So
Yeah, very similar to Demon Slayer and Muzan.
Yeah.
Very similar because.
And I feel like I'm waiting for him to come out.
Yeah.
And see him again.
No, it's a thing. Obviously, when you get introduced to the strongest character of the show, that being Gojo at the beginning of the series, you're kind of like, well, everybody else is weaker than him, and you kind of only want to see more of Gojo himself, and Sukuna as well. So you have these two, the strongest guys, basically, and all you want to do is watch them fight. Although not really. I mean, don't misunderstand me like that, but that's the fight we're looking forward to. It's not like we're waiting for Yuji to fight, I don't know, Mahito. We're waiting for the two strongest guys. That's what we want to see, because that's what the setup has been for a really long time, ever since the start of the show. So it's a bit of a problem writing like that. Although it's really creative and I respect it, that's the thing that's difficult to like about the show so far. Because it's hard to appreciate a Panda Senpai and a Mekamaru fight when you want to see Gojo and Sukuna, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like a lot of people feel this way, because you can tell from the views of our videos. Whenever Gojo is present or he has done something in the episode and he's on the thumbnail, there's views going. So, yeah, I feel like the show has definitely played itself a little bit with that one. There's a lot of problems with the show, in the sense that you have this guy who's the strongest ever, and he can do pretty much everything. Why doesn't he do everything himself, Gojo? He can do that. But I understand that the world is a lot more different, and that's the way Gojo sees it as well. I mean, he's kind of like... His personality also is not the type... He's also not the type of guy who would do that. He wouldn't do everything on his own. I mean, he's funny like that.
You know what I really miss? A backstory for Gojo. Like...
Yeah, I guess. It's hard to see a backstory for him like that, because we haven't really seen him in a tough situation.
Yeah.
You see, with characters, whenever you see a backstory, it's when they're pushed to their absolute limits. And that would be impossible with Gojo.
Yeah, because he's just clicking his fingers and everything's alright.
Yeah. Another thing that I dislike so far is obviously the fact that we have so many characters. Their techniques are not really that interesting to me. So I know in a lot of the fights we have somebody attacking and then somebody counters with his technique. But that always seems like it's been plucked out of their ass for me personally. It's never like, oh, so this is what he can do. And maybe that's because you find out their technique as they're fighting. Whereas if we knew it beforehand, it would have been a lot more interesting. So to think of a way for the character to get out of the situation. See, with Panda, for example, if we knew about the course, we would have been like, hey, Panda Senpai can switch here with the other core. You know what I'm talking about? Whereas now, it always felt like in a fight, they just have these abilities and it's kind of like, well, I can do that. Well, I can do that. And I don't know, I feel like it's never going anywhere.
Yeah, but with Panda Senpai it was kind of surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the surprising element is always there. That's not my issue. My issue is to this day I don't feel interested in any character going against another one. You know what I'm talking about? It's not like I see Kamo, for example, and I'm not like interested in what's gonna happen if he fights Nishimiya, for example. Okay, he has blood, he can manipulate blood, and he can attack with that, but it's not like...
We haven't even seen what Nishimiya is capable of.
Yeah, so it's not like the abilities are appropriate that much that they can counter each other. That was a good example with Nobara, because we know one of her abilities, and the moment she thinks of that to use it in a fight, is when you get hyped about it, and you're like, damn, that's really smart, and you love that.
Work.
Yeah, that's probably the best explanation I can give about what I dislike so far in the show. I don't know if I explained really well what I dislike, but yeah, that's it. With Demon Slayer, for example, I can use that as an example. You have these Hashiras and these demons, and we know what Akaza is about. For example, I mean, he has that kind of like Jujutsu martial arts techniques going on with him, and I'm thinking what Hashira can go up against him. What is gonna be an interesting fight? And I obviously immediately go to Gyome. What about if Gyome fights Akaza? With Jujutsu Kaisen, I don't really have that. I'm trying to think of something, but obviously Yuji has the Black Flash, Yuji has the speed, the strength, touching souls, I guess. Yuji is kind of perfect for Mahito, because he's the only one who can kill him. But that's kind of like, to this day, I still don't even know why Yuji can do that to Mahito. Obviously because he has Sukuna inside him. I think the explanation was that obviously Mahito joins or enters the soul, and that's where Mahito kills the person or reconstructs them. That's how he turns humans into these human curses, by entering their soul and doing his stuff. With Yuji, obviously it's different because Sukuna rejects Mahito, and that's how the interaction works between them. So that's another example of how Jujutsu Kaisen can do stuff like that, but it obviously feels like it's done when it's only appropriate. You know what I'm talking about? It's not like, I feel like they can do a better job at using those techniques in a way that is interactive with other techniques. I don't know, is Nobara's nails gonna pierce through Kamo's blood? I don't know, I mean, I'm trying to think of something, I can't at the moment, but yeah, stuff like that is what I'm interested in. Also, Kamo, for example, can he affect bloods of another
person?
Yeah, can he,
I was asking.
Yeah.
Like, can he do that? Because if he can do that, well, that's...
Okay, he's a blood manipulator.
So
can you do that for another person? That's an interesting question, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, can he do that? Can he not? If he can't, why not? And I'm sure a lot of this is to do with us as well. I mean, it's really hard to understand and to follow all the techniques because they make it so hard for the viewer to read the subtitles. A lot of the stuff they're talking about is pretty hard explained, and they use weird words for them. To this day, I still don't even know why it's called exorcism. To exorcise something instead of actually just saying kill them. Obviously, that's the Jujutsu sorcerer term, but yeah. And there's a lot of other examples with that. I don't want to go too much into it. But yeah, that's mostly what I have had issues with so far. And just another small thing, I feel like every character is too one-dimensional for me personally. I feel like these characters, they have one thing happen to them in their life, and then their life is somehow shaped by this one event. So with Nanami, it's the 9 to 5, basically just working. Even his ability, that's a pretty weird thing, not gonna lie. I mean, shaping the way he fights based on, I don't know, his work life. Obviously, another example is Nobara, the whole thing about her and that friend of hers at her village. I mean, that event has happened to Nobara, and then her life and her mindset and her belief system has been shaped by that. Only that, nothing else. I mean, that's really realistic. It just feels like they tried to pump out a lot of characters, give some meaning behind them, give them a backstory, an event that has happened to them, so it makes the viewer care more for them, and it makes the viewer understand their beliefs more. But then it kind of just feels like, well, that's the only thing that they are. This thing that has happened to them, and that's who they are now.
Yeah, because we got introduced to so many characters so fast.
Yeah, and I feel like they could be developed a lot more. I definitely feel like that, but I'm quite happy with a lot of other things about this show. So I've had my time talking about the things that I dislike. They were a lot, but also there's a ton more that I like about the show. I really enjoyed the mysteries at the beginning of the show, obviously.
Yeah.
The way it started was really nice. Before we had so many characters to think about. I really enjoyed the way they introduced the main character. I really enjoyed the way they introduced Megami, Gojo, the techniques, the entire world. The world building is pretty nice as well. I have to say that. The comedy is fantastic. There's obviously parts where it's kind of like, the fuck are you trying to do? What is this show even trying at the moment? But then there's other times where comedy is just spot on. It all,
Yeah, those scenes with Todo.
It always has been with Todo. This is who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Fights, animation, music, production is spot on. The story is nice as well. I know I had some issues with that, but in terms of the protagonist being somebody whose end goal is to basically die. So the villain, the most evil curse and the most powerful curse dies, is a pretty interesting and unique concept.
Yeah. And selfless.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen or heard about an anime that's been done like that. So I like that. That's a brave move by the guy who wrote the damn thing. Other than that, I feel like I really like the designs of the curses. All curses were pretty unique. All sorcerers were pretty unique as well. We have guys like Mekamaru, like Panda Senpai.
Yeah.
It's not just regular humans. Voice acting as well for most of the characters has been pretty nice. So yeah, mixed opinions about the show so far. And she shares those most of my thoughts she shares with me. So I'm speaking for both of us here. I'm just doing it so we don't bicker at each other constantly.
Because it happens sometimes.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is what we think of the show so far. And I know some of you have said that season 1 is not that good. It's like season 2 is where the real shit starts. I'm yet to form a solid opinion on the show before I finish season 2, obviously.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to finish that first, and then we can decide whether this show has been good or not good for us.
For us, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's it though. That's it. We're done with season 1.
Any favorite characters?
Yeah, let's do a top 3. I mean,
it's hard. Like,
top 3 is easy.
Yeah, can I choose 3 people for top 1 for the first place and then choose another one?
Well, that's like a top 5 then. Or you mean you have like 3 characters that you like equally?
Yeah, Gojo, obviously.
Okay.
Because his eyes.
You're joking at the moment.
No, I'm not. Like Gojo.
So you Gojo for his eyes, really?
Not only for his eyes, but have you seen them?
I get the whole thing about obviously Gojo is a really cool character.
Like I want to see more handsome, of him.
But this whole simping over him is just for the jokes. I mean, I'm not gonna put Gojo in my top 3, for example. Obviously, I enjoy seeing him. He's goofy. He's likable. He's a maniac in a sense. I love seeing him use his abilities. But come on.
I want to see something more deep.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. We haven't seen anything
and that's
of
why
this guy.
I can't put him first, but he's fighting for that place. Because if I see something more of him, then first place for him for sure.
Yeah.
Then I want to put kind of Megami because of his mindset and etc. You know. And I also want to put Sukuna there because I just enjoy the show more when he's on screen.
Yeah, I don't understand this point. Yeah.
So those are my reasons.
Yeah. He has that overwhelming presence, Sukuna.
Yeah. So maybe if I try to look more into the character, that place is gonna go for Megami, for sure. But I want to see more of Gojo and Sukuna.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
My top 3 would be Megami in first. For obvious reasons. I'm not gonna go over them again, but if you wanna know why, go back to the previous episode, watch the discussion. Those are the reasons I have Megami in first. I have Todo in second, because he's given me so much entertainment throughout this season that I just can't simply ignore him. And not only that, I mean, we do understand, we did come to find out a lot about him and his upbringing. And Takada-chan as well. I mean, that whole thing is just, it's just funny. It's just funny, but we also saw a lot of Todo and who he is. When he was given those orders by the principal, he rejected the principal, and he basically stood up for his best friend, Yuji.
So much respect for that. And he wasn't even his best friend
at that
back
time.
Then.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think for the third spot. I think I'll put Nanami. I think I'll put...
Because 95.
Yeah.
You both hate it. Everyone hates it,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I think I'll put Nanamin in there just because of a lot of the things he said during this show so far. He's got that clever brain. He's a really smart guy, and I love the way he uses words. So a lot of the advice he's given Yuji has been really smart, and a lot of the things he's thinking about are thoughts of somebody that's lived a lot. And you can tell, I mean, he's wise. That's what I'm trying to say. I love his backstory. I love the reason he changed his decision to go back to the sorcerers. And in general, he's just a cool guy, a cool stand-up guy. And that's what I like in characters. And the show hasn't given me a lot of those, but when it's done it, I've enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, those are my top 3. Special mentions obviously go to Gojo, Sukuna, Mahito, for example. Mahito, I'm not putting Mahito in my top 3 just because he's a giant crybaby.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really invested into the souls thing. Although it's an interesting concept. Once again, shout out to the people, to the guy who wrote the damn thing.
Mahito lacks presence.
Yeah, for sure.
Of a villain.
Yeah, he definitely does. He's not like other great villains that we've seen, I guess.
Yeah.
Muzan, for example. Maybe Omni-Man in Invincible as well. Yeah, Mahito definitely lacks that. Yeah, though, we're gonna end this discussion because it's been a long one. Thank you for watching this reaction, and if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and tuning into the next video, and we'll see you there.
See ya!